Now, the First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome in on this Thursday. You're getting a live look from our Protector, or the Protector, our mobile weather unit out there, currently on Bay Street, giving you a look out across the St. Johns River and at some of those thunderstorms, really kind of what has kind of morphed into a line of storms now pushing their way through downtown Jacksonville, but much of Duval County here, and even down into the northern part of St. Johns County as well. So this is kind of giving you a southern look at the storm. So the worst of it has already kind of passed the downtown area. So areas off to the east, though, still going to continue to see some pretty strong, thunderstorm activity for potentially about the next 30, maybe 35 minutes or so here. And then it looks like after that, a lot of the activity that can potentially be seen behind it might be fizzling out. So this might be the big event for this afternoon and evening. Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner just joined me in here. Welcome, Lou.
How's it going? Oh, man, what an active, early. If you're going to get it now before the kind of the evening plans kick off, before you really in earnest get into that evening commute, right? So good. Our storm window has always been kind of that 2-4 o'clock, but it's really cool shot there, Ross. Nice job getting a look there. Take it to the
so this is from the Protector.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so one of our photographers out there in the Protector here.
Adrian?
Yeah, Adrian's out there.
Shout out, buddy. Well done.
Looking good at the Hart Bridge. So, torrential rains. We saw it and heard it come through just moments ago here at our First Coast News Studios in downtown Jax. This is another look. This is looking due east. Very dark, if not black skies. Headed off to the east. So if you live out in East Arlington, the beaches, you're going to be getting this here very, very shortly. If not, Arlington probably getting it right about now, Lou.
And the threats we're talking about with this storm, we had radar indicated winds 60 miles an hour. That's hence the warning. But gosh, the lightning, so much lightning. So whether you're underneath this storm right now or you're just to the east of it, which is we're tracking out right now, making its way to the beaches, still you're hearing that thunder. That's the kind of the precursor to what's to come, and your leading edges there where you'd most likely see some of those gusty 60-mile-an-hour winds. But that's for your Duval down in St. Johns County for another half hour or so. They've got a pretty nasty, robust-looking storm system there that's basically had hovered over 95. It still is, right? So we've got till 4:30, and this is essentially just south of the World Golf Village exit, right over the Outlet Mall exit. So you're talking about getting right on 16, make that 16-207 kind of exit, that 10 mile or so stretch between those two exits. That's all that lightning. And I was looking just a minute ago, so we have a way of, you can count the lightning strikes. And just within the last 10 minutes or so, there's been some 200 lightning strikes within this cell. So front end and back end. So just because the thing passes you, so if you're in Piccolata or you're in Rivertown, so those communities south of World Golf Village along 13, just because it's past you, that lightning's still striking on the back end, and sometimes that's the worst and most powerful lightning strike. But gosh, it is bullseyed up right between Highway 16 and 207, and making that trek right towards downtown St. Augustine. So St. Augustine Shores, St. Augustine Beach. This will most likely slide just to the north of Crescent Beach and Butler Beach, but you're within that warning too. So let's get inside. If you're watching the stream right now and you're east of this cell, now you've got the heads up. But it'll be offshore in the next half hour or so. So again, the main event is happening for our afternoon right now. And by the time we get to our dinner time plans, looks like things will be improving.
Yeah, so again, that warning goes until 4:30 for St. Johns County. For the severe thunderstorm warning in Duval County, that runs until 4:15. But yeah, I mean, a very, very strong core. Andy, I don't know if you can back there or not. If we're able to get a look at I-95 in St. Johns County, that'd be great. If not, no worries. But I mean, this is kind of a bad time just with regards to rush hour, Lou.
Yeah,
a lot of folks heading down. Yeah, great. Thank you for that, Andy. Yeah, I mean.
And so
things are slow going.
This look, the slow going side would be the southbound side. So, and I know that because driving into work, I go right here from 9B onto 95. So the cross traffic there is 9B heading towards Durban. The slow traffic on the left is southbound side. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you were thinking to yourself, oh, I need to go get out of Duval towards St. Johns County, don't. Just don't. Not on 95 at least. Take 13 or take Phillips down, but do not. Just take my professional and personal life experience. Don't get on 95 right now.
Just give it some time.
Give yourself some time. But there was an accident. So we had a vehicle fire already on 95 in St. Johns County on those southbound lanes that had things backed up all the way to downtown, essentially, people trying to get south. So just cheat code is get off the interstate, get on 1, deal with the stoplights, or get on 13, deal with the stoplights. There's just nothing, there's no bigger pet peeve of mine than sitting in standstill traffic and just riding the brake. Like, I would much rather back road it. I'll stop at stoplights, but nope, that's not for me. That's maddening, and that's going to last. I mean, this right here is right as you get into St. Johns County. So you're talking 50 solid miles to the south end of it before you're clear. So that's when you're moving at 25 miles an hour, you're just crawling.
That's Lou. That's why you just got to tap the brakes.
Tap the brake. Tap. Just
tap.
Just put it in low gear. Just put it in low gear.
Just let it ride. Let it ride.
Yeah. Oh, geez, grind the gears. But yeah, so good look there at 9B, which would be a little bit north of this system that we're going to continue to watch till 4:30. But severe thunderstorm warning for Duval as well for another 9 minutes time. We'll see if that gets extended on out, or if National Weather Service is seeing that weaken just a bit as it makes its way to the beaches. Weakening or not, severe or not, there's still, whether it's 60 miles an hour or below that threshold, and you're getting 40 mile an hour gusts, we've seen that do damage.
Yeah.
Plenty of it, and can knock out power, and also just be a nuisance if you're out and about at the beach. Get inside Jack's Beach at this point.
Now, you and I had talked briefly before we came on here, and I mentioned it at the top of the show before you walked in, that this might be the main event.
Yeah.
We were planning on, we had that live picture from the Protector at the start of the show here.
Yep.
We were planning on being live out in that 4 or 5 and 5:30 and 6 o'clock newscast. But perhaps, the whole sea breeze collision has now occurred, and we're really not seeing a whole lot more convection get brought in. Oh, sorry about that. On the far western side of this.
And what's going to happen as well, so the rain, which you kind of take as a bit of relief, right, when you're dealing with how hot it was today. I was out in the yard working between shifts because you just kind of got to do it. Happy wife, happy life, you know what I mean? And you're out in the yard working, and you just feel yourself. Now, all 42 of my ears were stacking up too, but that heat and humidity was just taking life out of me. So the pressure release in this is the rain. What it's also going to do is stabilize the atmosphere. So you're going to get cooling, and with the timing of the day, as we start to lose daytime heat anyway, I see the convective energy kind of so.
And plus we had a lot of early afternoon convection out towards I-75, Ocala,
Yep.
Gainesville, even a lot of high cloud cover from that, or mid to high level clouds kind of blowing off the top.
Yep.
Excuse me. So because of that, that's also kind of limiting how much, extra heating we got later on here this afternoon and evening. So that's just kind of another factor into why the atmosphere is becoming a little bit more stable out there now, Lou.
For sure. Yep. So a couple of factors why we think that the main event is now. And by the time we're talking at 5 o'clock, we might be talking about what was happening and what we can expect for Friday, which will be more. And then a weekend that looks promising. So, I know you were showing storm potential across the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, well, mainly just because that's a pretty rare level 3 enhanced for, the Delmarva, Nova, meaning Northern Virginia, Delco, all my friends in Delco up there in
Shout out.
Delaware County. I'm not sure why this keeps advancing.
It's mad at you.
I'm not doing anything.
Is somebody... Is somebody driving outside?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check real fast because I feel like
Leave me on. Yeah, leave me on one of the thunderstorms there, and
I'm not clicking through. So
yeah. So looking at what we see in Duval, so that line there is expanding outside. Oh yeah, we are advancing wildly on the MAX system, showing a velocity scan, which is wildly important, when tracking severe weather. But for whatever reason, we've got a gremlin in the computer system that's showing us Southeast Georgia, which, friends in Southeast Georgia, as you watch this stream, we're good to go there. So, Andy, you can bring me full as we wait on my friend Ross to get everything going. Or I don't know if you have the source to bring up any sort of live camera, so it's not just the tropical wave going. Beach is next. So whether it's at the severe level or not, because we know in about 4 minutes' time the severe thunderstorm warning will expire for Duval. And it doesn't look at this point like they are extending that. They've put out a special marine warning, so that'll be as storms move offshore. Of course, if you're streaming this and you got any friends maybe fishing near shore, shoot them a text, tell them maybe get back to the dock as quick as possible. And then they've put in a special weather statement for the beaches, and this will be more for the 40-mile-an-hour gusts, not to that quote-unquote severe level. You got to have parameters for everything and guidelines for everything, but that 40-mile-an-hour gust as you're sitting out on the beach is enough to throw your umbrella. So now's the time, kind of head to the hill, find a little shelter, maybe sneak in one of the fine establishments along Jacksonville Beach for a few minutes until this thing passes over in the next 45 minutes or so.
head to the hill. What hill are you talking about here, Lou?
Never heard that term, head to the hill?
No, I have. We just have. Are you
Different frame of reference for hill.
Yeah.
For me, the hill's the boat ramp. So
okay.
I grew up my dad ran a marina in South Carolina. So whenever we would be out in the boat and we could see the thunderstorms coming out, it was always west to east. So never really anything, but just similar to what we're getting today. So you would you'd look out of the west, start seeing the things towering, and Dad would always say, "Time to get to the hill."
Okay.
Take the boat back to the hill, which was the boat ramp. We were flat, but the one little elevation was getting the boat back up on the trailer. But yeah, what's your hill?
Oh, I mean, I grew up in the mountains, so a hill literally was a hill and
An
a
actual
ridge.
hill?
Yes, yes.
Good stuff. Did you figure it out? What was the deal behind the scenes?
Yes, our weather intern she's running through some stuff.
Good for her.
Little confusion with the graphics and which clicker controlled which set of graphics. So
Gotcha.
all good, a simple mistake there.
Autumn taking care of business. She's going to be a trooper. Perfect
Yeah.
stuff. All right, so let us
Yes.
continue on. So we were talking about Delmarva.
Yeah, so essentially
Delco.
this is a rare severe weather, event or potential event for many folks, whether you're in, Norfolk, Virginia, up to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Philly, even up to the 5 boroughs up there in NYC. So certainly could see some activity for them closer to home here. Obviously, we've pretty much had the storms this afternoon and evening now. Tomorrow going to be another chance for some potential storms. Especially by the late afternoon and early evening yet again. Until those storms arrive, it's going to be another very hot, humid day. Real field temperatures anywhere from 100 to 105. I believe today, Lou, we got up to about 103 at the Jacksonville International Airport. And then some of those scattered thunderstorms. So my overall thinking for tomorrow, if we're trying to pinpoint where exactly the best chance for storms are going to be, is pretty much from 95 west. I do think maybe the sea breeze works its way inland a little bit further tomorrow than where it got today. Mm-hmm. So that sea breeze, collision pretty much, they smacked up against each other almost right over 95.
Yeah.
I expect that to be maybe a little bit closer to Highway 17, kind of between, 95 and 17 or even 95 and 301. So I'm thinking kind of the western sides of Duval County. And perhaps Eastern Baker, have the best chance to maybe see some of those. Similar story down in Bradford County and Clay. And are you kind of thinking along 100%, the same lines?
And that's what we saw for our for Tuesday, Wednesday as well. We've kind of been looking at this more western storm zone, and the difference in today is those southwesterlies, those westerlies kind of won the battle. So you had the strong Gulf side kind of winning out today, as indicated by those storms popping a little earlier along 75 Ross was talking about and blowing out. So the Atlantic side perhaps a little bit stronger, maybe high pressure getting that onshore flow a little bit stronger as well. So yeah, it makes total sense. But you notice that the areas at the beach is still shaded. Right,
yeah.
so we still have that shaded. It's just, we try to be extra precise, like the computer model suggesting. And really, other than by about 45 minutes to an hour, computer model is kind of nailed today as far as development over 95, moving out to the beaches, that west wind winning out. It happened as opposed to 5. It was at 3:45, and we're seeing our warnings now. But I like the general pattern of the Atlantic side, kind of winning out.
And I mean, I think the overall maybe takeaway from the end of the weekend as we head into the weekend is that the pattern is changing a little bit. Obviously, it's still going to be hot. There still will be, at least at a minimum, some isolated thunderstorms. But we're really going to be kind of watching for the change in wind direction and which, are the westerlies or the easterlies going to win out. As Lou mentioned, today, very much that westerly or southwesterly flow. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be, we're still going to have westerly flow, but perhaps not as strong. That easterly sea breeze works its way inland a little bit further, but even more so than as we head into Saturday and Sunday. And that's really what I'm trying to show here. So by Saturday afternoon into the evening, that sea breeze pushes a little bit further inland. You can kind of see where some of those collisions are at. So if you kind of just zone right in toward McClenny, that's trying to show you, as far inland as maybe one of those sea breezes makes its way, at least on Saturday. Then on Sunday, you're going to notice even as early as 8 a.m., almost the entirety of the flow is out of the southeast. And that's really going to help to keep most of the storm chances much further westward of 95. Doesn't mean we won't get a storm or, a quick shower in and around either, St. Johns County or Jacksonville. If you do, I think it'll be much earlier in the day. Late morning, early afternoon, but the vast majority of any isolated to scattered thunderstorm activity going to be much further west, and that's just going to continue to kind of march its way out the I-10 corridor, Lou, here throughout the weekend. So Saturday, I'm thinking mainly west of Highway 17, and then by Sunday, really talking closer out toward the I-75 corridor, Columbia County, Lake City, Ocala, Gainesville, some of those areas maybe perhaps have a better chance of seeing some thunderstorms. Whereas here in Jacksonville looks to be a little bit drier, quieter weather, something we haven't had much of, the past couple of days. Did you see yesterday the National Weather Service put out a little comment in our chat saying that there has been a thunderstorm recorded at the airport or in the vicinity of the airport for like 14 or 15 straight days. Yeah. Which is like one of their, I don't think it was the longest on record, but like getting pretty darn close too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close. That's interesting. The other interesting element of that is, at least yesterday, we're still running at the airport about an inch below normal rainfall for the time of year, which is so funny to think, because record keeping happens at the National Weather Service Jacksonville office, right? And that's just one point on the map. I mean, there's some spots that have had in these heavy downpours a couple of inches of rain in a day, or in a specific rain event. But nonetheless, at that point, while there have been thunder, lightning specifically indicated in the vicinity, the rainfall, it's been quick. It's been short-lived. I like looking at the long range as we see what's coming next, and sinking air, a little high pressure in control. Like looking out in the 7-day forecast, looking out in the extended period, where we've been riding with 60 and 70% coverage of showers and storms. We get out to the first of next week through this weekend. We might be entering less of a rainy pattern. I don't think 0% chance of rain at all, and we probably won't see that until we get to December. But truly, as far as the washouts are concerned, we're going to be doing a little bit better by midweek.
And talking about just how localized some of the rainfall is, I think yesterday was a perfect example. So I was off yesterday. I wasn't here. Yep. I left you high and dry on a Wednesday or something. But I live up by the airport. Right. And maybe a mile away. Yeah. And there was that storm up there all afternoon. Yeah. It was oriented south to north. Yeah. Sat over us for almost 45 minutes. Huh. Torrential downpours. the whole time.
Yep.
Why do I really know the specifics? Because my dog and I were out for a walk.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to make it back. We did not.
Yeah.
We hung out in the mailroom, and he's shaking because it's thundering and lightning's cracking.
Thunder dog. I know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, we're thunder buddies through and through.
Yep.
And
Same with my dog.
yeah, and we literally got stuck there for like 45 minutes as it just poured and poured and poured. But a mile west, where the airport was, now based off radar, it really didn't look like it was raining there at all.
Right.
Some, maybe perhaps light rain, but the heavy stuff just sat right over us. There was no upper level air movement.
Yep.
That thing was not getting steered east or west. I mean, it just sat.
And ran itself
spot.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
And none of that rain,
nothing.
I don't know how much we actually got there, but easily rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour.
Sure.
And none of that would have gotten recorded at the airport. So it really does depend on where does that downpour or storm, does that pass right over the airport or not,
For sure.
For it to get recorded or not.
For the record keeping. I'm telling you, it is so spotty and widely scattered through these chances, but the other story becoming our heat through the weekend. We'll continue to deal with that. So you may actually be wanting a little bit of rain to cool things off. And then, talking tropics.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know Robert did a whole thing on this morning. I just wanted to toss this in real quick before we get to the 7 days. So that Hurricane Eric.
4.
Yeah, Cat 4.
Dude.
And now, it's still a Cat 1, but very, very quickly deteriorating over some of the higher terrain there in western Mexico.
Oaxaca. State of Oaxaca, I believe is how you pronounce that.
Have you been there?
And Guerrero. No, I've never been.
No.
Acapulco would be fun. But, not at the moment. I know we had some storm chasers in the area. Hopefully get some video up. I'm looking forward to seeing that because, Cat 4 making landfall is brutal. And then you flip-flop the seesaw and you look out in the Atlantic Basin. We're good to go over the next 7 days. So take it 1 7-day bite at a time. And your 7-day forecast, Ross, as we wrap up, I love seeing the weekend getting a little bit better as far as our rain chances.
Yeah, and the first day of summer's tomorrow.
That's right, the solstice.
If you haven't put your floaties on already, blow them up, get ready to go.
Jump in, longest day of the year, no excuses, play like a champion, do a cannonball.
Take care, folks.